It's not a short distance because I want that cab. But the fact is, we feel that's not lying. It's, what we call, it's something which is, we have made it very conducive for us. So it is selective lying. But we think we are being honest. We are being smart. Absolutely. So we think, no, that's not lying. But somebody who does a bigger lie is called a liar. But we in our own ways do this all the time. Without even thinking we are doing something wrong. So therefore what should have been the correct action in that situation? Think about the impact of the mistake, both at an individual level and also at the collective level. Now while all of you are reading this, all of you are thinking, where is the time to think all this? But the fact is, as you condition your mind to think like this, it happens in just hardly any second, hardly any time. Find out the reasons for the mistake, and what we say is turn the camera on you. You look very different what you see and when you see in the mirror, and what others see you. There is a management concept called the Johari window. What you know of yourself, what others know about you, what you know about yourself internally, and what you don't know, you don't know. There are 4 windows of every human being. That's a management concept which is taught at the IIMs. So the idea is to understand what we know. We know about ourselves to a great extent. We think we don't know. Till somebody tells us. So we have to start understanding that when the camera is on you, when nobody is looking, still you break that signal. When the signal at 11 o'clock in the night is on, how many of us would stop at the signal, wait till it turns green and go? How many of us? We wouldn't. So let's be honest then. Are you not lying to your own self? Oh, nobody is looking at you. So that means only because the law is there, we are trying to just abide by the law. But 11 o'clock there's nobody on the road, I'm not harming anybody. There's arguments for everything. So what are you doing? Is it a correct act by itself? It's not. If the signals are off, then you don't have anything to do. Okay, the signals are off. So there is no reason of it being a wrong or a right act. So when the camera...
Follow the signals in the night.
You think for yourself. I am saying turn the camera on yourself. And you do what is right and wrong, where you lay parameters for yourself. Helps one to become introverted. Devise plans at an action and intellectual level to avoid repetition of mistakes. This is how I start studying my mistakes. You observe yourself, and as I said, as an exercise, you try doing that for a week as much as you can. You will see, when you see on paper, it's something very different from what you think over here. It changes a lot of thinking. Writing is something which transforms your thoughts into words. And when it shows you back on paper, it's very different of what you think. Your thinking will realize, you yourself will realize, yes, I made this. A lot of realizations will come in. Therefore, what can I do with the evaluation of spiritual practice to develop certain qualities? To tell, to accept mistakes. It is also a lot of effort for somebody to accept a mistake. Because you always go on the defensive. Can somebody say, you yelled at me, you got angry at me, you abused me? Can you just accept it? Without saying, no, I was trying to tell you this, I was trying to do this. The but comes immediately. So therefore, some qualities which can helpful to understand and accept certain mistakes which one may have is attitude of listening, attitude of asking. How many of us actually go back and say, what do you think went wrong? More than asking how I was or what was good in the whole thing. Humility. Humility is something, again, is a matter of attitude. Good manners, attitude of learning. I am here to learn from each one, because each one gives me different perceptions, different views, different thinking. self-control, honesty and fearlessness. These are some qualities which one can imbibe on the way. Therefore, what we think is, yes, these are some of the qualities for accepting or telling one's mistakes. A person with many PDs, we feel that, oh, I'm a bad person. A lot of us at some point we undergo through our low moments, we say, no, you tell no people, I am not a good person, don't stay with us. When you're angry or when you're in your depression, you do that. Or you want to get attention. There are different ways of how we handle ourselves. But it does not mean that you cannot overcome those thoughts. And it is natural for every human being to have some or the other defect in personality, habits to some extent. All of us have some defects in some way or the other. Absence of PDs is not a tool for requirement, but it is, once you start what we have, the tool which we use for chanting, once you start the process of actually starting a spiritual practice, you will start understanding that the defects, the PDs within us go not because we have done something, but as a byproduct of it. And becoming a good seeker is dependent mainly on one's own motivation to progress. As I said, how much of your initiative, your motivation is there to change yourself. Not a lot of us would want to do that. You have the intention, but to go with that effort, because my talking to you is only 2%. The other effort is your own 98%. How much are you willing to commit to that 98%? When I say commit, it means staying committed. It's not doing it for 1 week and saying, oh, I did it, it didn't work. Nothing will work for 1-2 weeks. You have to put in consistent practice, because these are impressions of our mind which are there from lifetimes. So obviously it is not going to go so easily. The trait which is there in us is deep into our subconscious mind. That's why we show the mind at the beginning, because it starts from there. And it starts not now, it has started from many, many lifetimes. And something which has started from many, many lifetimes is so deep-rooted that it will obviously take an effort to remove it or to lessen the intensity. But it works. The main thing is it works. Something works somewhere. But the effort is what one has to put in. We have seen what a PD is. Let us go and understand the second facet of this, and that is obviously linked to it, and that's your ego. Okay, what is the definition and meaning of ego? The full form of ego, what we say is edging God out. E-G-O. Because there's no place, if you have an ego, and I'm not saying ego is bad. You need a certain ego. And there's a very thin line between self-respect, self-esteem and ego. But you must be clear of what it is, depending on the situation, person you're dealing with. So, what we actually mean when we are defining ego is you consider oneself to be distinct from God, from others and God. You are different. I am a different human being. But we have to understand the evolution that we have come as part of God, and our aim of human life is to go back to God, to merge with God. But we think we are different, and therefore we say, I did this, I did this. The I part in every sentence is the largest. Ego can also be defined as pride about the self. Thoughts such as my body, my mind, my intellect, my life, my wealth, my wife, children, I shall acquire happiness, arises from ego alone. Obviously you're going to think, then how do we talk? If I don't put I in that. Yes, it is there, but how much of it works, how much of your thoughts, your action work at this level? Pride, conceit and I-ness are related to ego on a psychological plane.